Hey guys, Fried here, and I'm just here to tell you about my last creepypasta, which got 105 views. So I decided today we're going to be doing a new creepypasta. This creepypasta is about a Lost SpongeBob episode called Cold. You all know SpongeBob. Everybody likes SpongeBob, including me. I like SpongeBob. It's a great show. But other than that, let's get straight into this creepypasta. I used to be the biggest fan of SpongeBob as a kid. I bought Nickelodeon merch and other things from them. As I grew into a teen, I was going through a garage sale with my mom. I spotted an old VHS tape, and it was labeled Cold. I looked on the back, and it also had the label Reef Blower in sharp writing that was wearing off. I always loved nostalgia, and I realized I never had the tape. I asked my mom. She said, "Sure, sweetie." I asked the old man who I bought it from where he got it. He told me he got it from a thrift store 6 years ago, which was a copy of the episode from Nickelodeon, and an employee sold it as they didn't want it anymore. And apparently it was supposed to be a version with dialogue. I knew the episode never had dialogue, but I heard it was intended to be fully voiced before equipment failure caused the episode to be mainly silent. I was curious as to what it would be, like with dialogue, so I took the tape home. My little brother was going to come over anyway, so I could watch it with him. He was around 5.5 at the time. I slid the tape in and turned it on. I gave my little brother some popcorn and some Orange Crush. The episode started with a normal intro before transitioning into the title card. The title card said Cold, with spider webs and a noose in the background. I was extremely confused. Why the hell would there be a noose in a show meant for kids? The unsettling part was the music, which was normally cheerful, had some raspy and reversed. Plus, wasn't this supposed to be Reef Blower? The Bubble Splash transition played as usual. Now SpongeBob was at Patrick's house. Very cheerful music played. Patrick and SpongeBob were having a small conversation until they got into a small argument. The argument graduated into a fist fight. I just thought it was another normal episode, but it was mistaken for a Reef Blower copy. That was until something shocking happened. SpongeBob said, "Patrick, you are nothing but a little piece of shit sliming as Gary's ass. Suck a..." Okay, let me not say that. Okay. I was appalled. My little brother only got one of the slurs, but he refused to leave when I told him to get out of the living room so that I could review this myself. Anyway, Patrick stood in shock. Tears filled his eyes and frowned, yelling, "Fuck you, you son of a bitch." They both stomped away, as Squidward watched, laughing. SpongeBob went to his home, and Patrick stormed into his rock. The bubble transition appeared, and it showed Patrick sitting in his tub. There was no sound, not even the sound of Patrick's blinking. He sat with what looked like cuts on his wrist, and a bloody razor blade beside him, and sitting in a puddle of what looked like piss, and some cocaine. You could even see Patrick's private parts. I gasped. And this time, I demanded for my brother to leave the room. He left the room screaming and crying. My mom was outside doing yard work. The bubble transition appeared, and it showed Patrick sitting in his tub. There was no sound, not even the sound of Patrick's blinking. He sat with what looked like cuts on his wrist, and a bloody razor blade beside him, and sitting in a puddle of what looked like piss, and some cocaine. You could even see Patrick's private parts. I gasped. And this time, I demanded for my brother to leave the room. He left the room screaming and crying. My mom was outside doing yard work. I started shaking violently. I felt sick to my stomach. I vomited some popcorn in my mouth, but held it back. It showed a full frame of Patrick's face, his eyes voids, with blood and tears streaming from them, with demonic laughing. The image of him staring at the viewer lasted 10 seconds before the screen turned into static, flashing, and then it shows Patrick on a stool with a rope in his hand, tying a noose. It panned for another split second, then showed Patrick hanging there, his body pale, and looking cold. There was kids screaming in the background, which I thought was outside. I grabbed a baseball bat. It went silent. The episode ended like normal. The calming credits music. I knew I was not going to sleep tonight. I grabbed that VHS tape and had Mom take it back. Angry after reviewing it, she took it to Nickelodeon Studios. She got a phone call 7 hours later. They said that they inspected everything about it. They said it aired at 3 a.m. in California 4 times every year for 6 years, but they weren't sure why it did. It never showed evidence of ever airing, despite accounts from the few unlucky people that saw the episode when it aired. They got phone calls about it, but ignored it, thinking it was a hoax, until my mom turned it into them. To this day, I'm only starting to watch SpongeBob again. I have occasional nightmares from it. I'm just happy my little brother left, or he would have been scarred for life. No one knows who made it or when its origin is.